Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rotary. Can everyone hear me okay? In the back, got me? So our second time with the opportunity to meet in person. So thank you all for joining us, and thanks for this beautiful weather. So with that, if you could please stand, and we will recite the four-way test. Things we think, say, or do. This is true. And Sam Anderson will be doing our invocation. Would you like to come up? All right.
Gracious God, we love you and thank you for the glory of your creation. May we treat it respectfully. May we thank you continually. And may we be Rotarians in every way that we are able in our society today. Thank you, God, for the blessings you pour out in our lives. May we continually live out our gratitude to you in all that we think, say, or do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sam. Introduction of guests. Rick Slicker, former district governor, is with us.
Yay!
Yay! I did also see Don Peterson, our assistant district governor, way in the back. I did not see Jill Carlson or Don Ryan or Gloria May. All right, guests. Do people have guests? Hey.
All right, today I have a guest. I brought my husband, Jim Root, to join us today. So we both have to actually take off a little early because of work, but glad to have him here today.
All right. Any other guests? Sam.
I have Sozo with me. She lives at the Team Challenge campus. She's a Labradoodle and she's 4 years old.
Yeah. This is Tenor, he's a roadie from Richmond. He's actually a therapy dog, but right now he's not. We have to wait till the rules change.
Very appropriately named for your dog, Adam. I also have a guest, Derek, if you could stand. This is Derek Owen. Derek is with the MP Center and has agreed to join me for lunch today with Rotary. So, Derek, thanks. All right, next, Rotary-related announcements. Rotary-related announcements. Lee, I know you have one.
So, you stand up right here. Come there.
You want to come home?
Okay, so this is a Rotary initiative. The Brainerd Sunrise Rotary Club, they are doing their 28th annual Rotary Road Sale. Put some flyers out on the table, and if you're interested in purchasing a dozen cut roads, either red or multicolored, the net proceeds go to scholarships of PHS seniors. 3 students, grades 9 through 11, are also sent to attend a week-long Rotary leadership camp once camp is back in session. So all the dollars go for local kids. And so you can choose between either red or multicolor, and they'll be delivered October 1st or 2nd. You can either pick them up, or I'd be happy to deliver them to surprise someone, or to get them to you to surprise someone. So let me know. They're just $20 a dozen. And my affiliation is I work with Barry Walters, who happens to be a member of the morning club. And so I said, hey, I'll mention this to my friends today at noon. So thanks. Let me know, and I'll make it really easy for you. Okay? Thanks.
Well, when we're going to have a district convention here, we were going to make a lot of money for the park in South Penn. Unfortunately, the district convention was canceled. So we still have pens that are genuine buckthorn pens. And so what we're going to do then is we're going to sell them or not sell them, for a $10 donation to the park, you can have a free genuine buckthorn pen. So let me know if you are interested, and we can go from there. Yeah, I turned these on maternally. The one thing I would just a word of caution, you don't have this buckthorn. I actually, when the goats came, I was really kind of disappointed because I thought they'd eat all the buckthorn and wouldn't be able to make any pens anymore. Fortunately, they're only here like about 10 days, they're gone. But this buckthorn, it multiplies and it spreads really, really good. So if you would make a donation and you get a free buckthorn pen, I would say after you've used it, put it back in the plastic bag or your house might be run over by baby pens.
Rod, you should auction the first one.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I got 20 pens, so if we get, $10 a piece, $200. So
You already have takers.
how should we do it? Who's the treasurer, Bill?
Jim McGreen is our treasurer. Jim, would you take the $10?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, the pens are being delivered and money being collected. Are there other Rotary related announcements? Peter, could you maybe give us an update on Rotary Riverside Park and the goats and how that went?
John, you old goat, you know more about the goat than I do.
All right, John, Peter, whoever wants to speak, I thought it would be nice to hear an update.
So I saw the goats arrive, and there was a small herd of 30, but John has been here since then. I can also tell you what, got a little activity. We may be able to I'll give you a little more update while we're waiting for the old goat to get up here. Yeah, right. We might have a line on some evergreens for the front entrance. We consulted with John Landsberg on a landscape design for the entrance, and his suggestion was basically to frame the entrance with large trees. Well, that can be pretty expensive, but we might be negotiating our way to some good value trees for that. And I can give you an update on the pavilion. The pavilion building permit is issued by the city, so we're good to go. And the challenge right now is actually finding contractors with enough time to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish yet this year. Our hope was to at least have the floating slab in this year so that early in the spring we could work from the slab up. And so that'll still remain our goal for right now, but every day makes it a little more questionable. What else went on in the park? Oh, John is really pleased to let you know that he no longer has to bring his lawnmower down here to mow this area around the parking lot, which he has been doing weekly. And instead, Scott Magnuson at Brainerd Public Utility has agreed to take about 1 minute and 27 seconds with those huge commercial mowers to go around that parking lot. So, the goats, you were the...
Before I talk about the goats, I want to say that we're in the consideration for a grant from the Minnesota Twins. And the grant that will provide for 3 swings and a bench.
John, hold the microphone a little closer.
Okay. Within the last week, we had goats.
What about?
No, it's I just did the drum roll for you.
We were able to get a herd of goats down to the park. And if you'll notice right by the end of the parking lot, that was the first area there. 30 goats. And they came in this area first. And the idea is to clean out the brush, especially the buckthorn. They moved them, I believe it must have been moved on Friday, and they brought in, I'm guessing, about 70 more goats. So in the area 2, which is back in the park, there were probably about 100 goats doing their job. And then at some point, they moved them to area 3. And I stopped down yesterday just to see what they were doing, and they're all gone. So I'm assuming that with 100 goats, they did their job quick. But the idea was to remove the buckthorn and in a natural process, and it looks like they're highly effective. So if you have a chance, just go take a look right beyond the trail there, and you can see what goats do. And that's only the 30 goat section. So you go back into the park where they had 100 goats, they really cleared it out good. So
It was fun to see visitors down there who had a dog with them. They would cut the fence. Electric fence.
there were a lot of people that stopped down with their kids. There was publicity on the public television as well in the dispatch. And a lot of people thought this was interesting. A lot of cars down here with a lot of kids. They were enjoying it.
There were. We got some really good PR. Thank you, Dan, for that. And thanks to the dispatch. We got some great PR.
Thank you both for all the work you're doing on Rotary Riverside Park and all of you who are spending your time. So thank you so much. Other Rotary related announcements. I do have a brief update on peach sales. Jeff is not here, but we will start giving refunds tomorrow. I don't have a count on the number of people that decided just to donate their funds, but I understand there's been quite a number who have. So we should have an update for you next week on peach sales. So, all right, before I go to Sergeant at Arms, which by the way, we don't have one today, so it's me, and I'm just gonna take happy dollars. It's kind of a special day today. We actually have 4 Rotarians who have birthdays today. 4 Rotarians with birthdays today. Jody Drummond, Pete Nelson, Paula Chapoulis, and Debbie Erickson. So I know we have 2 of the 4. So happy birthday. And
Happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
who's the harmonizer? Nicely done. Beautiful. So happy birthday. So neither Andy nor Mike are able to join us today, but one of the things that I love about Rotary are happy dollars. So I would still like to do happy dollars. Anybody have a happy dollar? Todd.
I was in San Diego. I had that on
This day, September 15th, 1990.
Happy anniversary. It is a truly special day. So we have an anniversary and 4 birthdays on September 15th. Kate, you had a happy dollar. Yeah. Or, sorry,
That's okay. I'm like,
I'm
first, I'm going to put in $1 for my husband being here, because he is by far my better half. He will not argue that point. This week is the Real Hope Project's. This week is the Real Hope Project's 4th birthday. We have made almost 200 videos, and over 50% of our kids that we've made this. We've helped 400 families start the adoption process in the 4 years that we've been in existence. So they're going through foster care, adoption, and if you know anything about that, it can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to actually finalize that. So some of those kids are kids that we videoed, some are others that are in the foster care system. So we are making huge impact. We have, my daughter and I have a fundraising page for the Real Hope Project that's going this week on Facebook. Please follow. We have a ton of prizes that we're giving away. We gave away 2 gift certificates to Drummond Winery yesterday for donors. And we have a 4-day hunting trip in Missouri and a 3-night stay at a beautiful house in Wellfleet, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So those are there. All it takes to get involved is a $20 donation to get entered into those drawings as well. So please help us change kids' lives this week. So, oh yeah, and my daughter just started a tutoring business if you know anybody who needs help with their students or themselves in math. There we go.
Other happy dollars. Jody.
Well, now that I'm 66 years old,
Oh,
I just have a first paycheck from Dennis and Wine Company.
Adam.
Yeah, I brought in my jar. My Happy Dollar Rotary jar.
Oh.
Turn that over. Toast needed. So, multi-purpose. I'm going to throw a 10 in too. There's so many blessings I felt, even with some talent as well. But I've learned how to build a wood shed, and that meant I could buy power. You know, the guy, it's a big deal. I learned how to lay stone, and I did a lot of stone houses at work. So it's been fun doing lots of gardening. It's been an interesting time, but God is good.
Thanks, Adam.
I had a really fun time with the kids this past week. I got a phone call and he said he's coming over. The next thing I know, Brett is flying over the farm in his, what would you call it? Airplane. And the kids just got such a kiss out of it. It was really fun. Thanks, Brett.
Rod.
I have a sad dollar and a happy dollar. The sad dollar has to do with suicide. Unfortunately, suicide hit my family. Jody and I had to make a trip down to the Phoenix area because of funeral and memorial service. But I think all of us have to keep in mind that this is a real thing, a bit like the virus. It touches a lot of families, and it's unfortunate. The happy dollar is this weekend then we'll be going to Iowa to play golf.
All right.
Second time all year.
So Rod, sorry for your loss, and thank you for the reminder. I think it's something to certainly keep in the forefront of our minds. Other happy dollars. Rick.
I'm happy. I was at the doctor yesterday. I do not have COVID, and I've never had COVID. Considering the amount of travel I did this past year and the thousands of people I shook hands with, it's somewhat of a miracle. It really is hard. But I did have some health issues in my last few months, and they kind of been taking care of them. So I'm doing well. I'm very happy.
I have time for one more happy dollar. Lee, you get it.
So yeah, so I'm really happy because he's explaining the reason why the penny is like $2 for each of our grandchildren. Do the math. On Friday, or rather weekend, one boy to our baby. So my baby son had a baby boy. It was really cool. So I just wanted to have a little joke.
All right, thank you. And again, I really love the happy dollars portion of Rotary. So thank you for the smile for me. So today is a club meeting, and normally we would be giving you an update on what happened at our board meeting this morning. However, we did not have a quorum for our board meeting this morning, so we are meeting next week. So we do, however, have the opportunity to have Buford come up and talk about the Paul Harris Fellow and also provide some awards. So with that, Buford, if you want to come up.
The older you get when you're a Rotarian, the more you realize you didn't know when you were younger. You belong to probably the greatest organization in the world right now. And I don't say that as a boast. That isn't true. The United Nations rated Rotary International as the most, not the largest, but the most effective charitable organization working with the United Nations. Now that says Rotary is doing something right. Rotary International is dependent on strong Rotary clubs at the local level. And so the stronger we are, the better Rotary is going to be at the national level. Now, Rotary International has a saying, every Rotarian every year, they try to set a goal of $100 minimum from every Rotarian going to the International Foundation. And I've been trying for 10 years to get every Rotarian in our club involved. And it's going to be very simple. You can have $25 a quarter taken out of your dues or put into your dues. And I'll get a check from Jim, our treasurer, and your name will be on the list, and off it goes to Rotary International. It's a good way of providing money if you really have a hard time giving anything. But if you want to give a lot more, you can send checks directly to Rotary International. I've got forms for that here. And I'm going to go back to a couple clients I had. And ironically, they were, one was Minnesota and one was in California. Both told me the same thing. They made their money the hard way. They worked for it, but they were well-to-do. And they said, you know, it's harder to give money away than to make it. And you know, it's kind of shocking. They said, yeah, everybody wants my money, but I want it to have an impact. And what I want to tell you is when Rotary provides impact. This last January, my wife, myself, and a family friend went on a Rotary trip to Cambodia. It was a Rotary program called Sustainable Cambodia. And I saw Rotary in action. And it was so effective that the Mormons had a program going in Cambodia, rolled it into the Rotary program. Just like Bill Gates with his money and his own foundation provided us with a substantial amount of money because we were doing something better than he could. So you belong to an unbelievable organization. The problem is that you don't really see the big picture unless you go to a lot of district meetings and you go to international meetings, and you see how international we are. When I was in North, it would be 15 years ago, when I was in Jordan on a program, talking to the general, the Jordanian general, who wrote up the peace accords with the Israelis. And it was probably one of the only accords that actually stayed in place. It was all a conflict in Jordan. Jordan has worked its way through it. They're a Muslim nation. I asked him how he did it. And he said, I applied the Rotarian principles. I'm a Rotarian. He had no idea that I was. And I'm just, shocked. And, you have to tell the truth and you have to abide by it. And when I saw that, I came back, and Rick Bricker asked me a couple times to join Rotary. When I came back from Jordan, I told him I'm ready to join. And I've been working with the foundation ever since. I really enjoy working with it. I see how much our members give. And usually it's the younger members that really don't understand what's going on in terms of the national program. We have about 20 people in our club that haven't given. And I'll be contacting them. I'll send them a little note. But everybody else in the club gives. It's amazing. And this year, we have several awards to give. And unfortunately, not everyone is here. But we go up when you give $1,000, you can get a pin. Or if you've done an outstanding job, you can earn. Somebody in the club can say, "Hey, you're outstanding. I want to give you some points." And those points will make a Rotarian or make you a Paul Harris Fellow. And if you give $1,000, you become a Paul Harris Fellow. And then as you raise the amount of money, you go up the ladder. And when you give enough, you become a major donor. At the present time, we have 4 major donors in our club. And we have one we're giving a presentation to in just a little while. But as a Rotarian, you want to get to your district convention to get a feel for how big we are and how effective we are. And then you want to go to an international program at some point. It's amazing. You'll see how effective we are there. And then, like I said, our local club has done wonders. This park is unbelievable. The amount of work that went into it is unbelievable. What we've done and what we've accomplished here is fantastic, among other things we've done. And at this time, I'd like to go into some presentations. Jennifer? The new Paul Harris members. Let me get my list here. Paul, you never received your pin yet. If you come up. Dave Winkleman. Okay. And William Mink's not here, and Paul Means is not here. And then we have 4 others that one is for the first time. One is going to you have an extra pin. Peter Nelson, would you come up? John Forrest. Heather Kelm. Jeff Burks. Is Jeff here? Okay. Dan Hegstead. Is he here? Okay. These last members I called up have a special accommodation. Would you tell why those Peter Nelson, John Forrest, Heather, and were called up?
I will. So Buford had called me and asked me, we had some extra club points, and asked for me to give him names of who I thought had given a significant contribution to Rotary and Paul Harris Fellow points. And so the last 5 that Buford mentioned were the names that came to mind: Rotary Riverside Park, Peter and John, Dan, as he sets up all of our speakers, Heather, who you may not know how much work Heather does behind the scenes. It is amazing the amount of work. Every time I call her, ask her something, she is right there responding and there. So much appreciate Heather. And then Jeff Burke. It's been a very challenging year for Peach Sale this year, and he was in constant communication trying to navigate that for the last 2 months. And Yeah, I think I mentioned Dan Hagstead, the speakers. I think we've had some really great presentations and also a lot of coordination. That takes a lot of coordination for him to put on all those presentations.
Jennifer, here, take. Well, the three that are going to get the pin, the others have pins, will be Paul, Dave Winkleman.
Because of COVID, I am not going to continue, but normally I would. So congratulations. Congratulations.
Dave Winkleman. Heather, your certificate is coming. And John, you're just going to get points. I shouldn't say that, but you're going to get another pin. I appreciate it very much. Now, we don't have a photographer here, do we? How do we take a picture?
Somebody with a cell phone.
I like somebody, there's a motley crew here.
We'll do a social distance picture. How about that? All right, smile behind the mask. And one more. There you go. Thank you.
We have one more award to give. Paula, would you come up? Paula has given over the years, and she is now a major donor at level 1. And Paula, that's a lot of dedication and a lot of work. And appreciate your helping Rotary International, and they really appreciate your help. Now, Paula is a true Rotarian. I was looking for a job she hasn't had in Rotary. I couldn't find it. She's been a president, she's been a secretary, she's been a editor for, she just put out a newsletter. She set up at one time our internet stuff. She's been a director of one of the committees. There is nothing Paula hasn't done that I can think of. Can you think of something? What's that? Oh yeah, Easter Bunny. She was a fantastic Easter Bunny. That's right. And along with all the work she's done, she's always contributed to Rotary International. And with that, I'd like you to receive. Oh, you got it? Oh. Here. Major donor pin. In this club, you're now 1 of 4. I appreciate it very much. Now, I'd like you to say a few words.
He told me ahead of time I had to get the pin sent to my house because, like, how do you do this with COVID going on? But he kind of said what I was thinking, because when I joined, it's kind of like, why would I contribute to an organization? And as I got into it, I started giving $25 a month, and I thought, well, this is easy enough. I'm not noticing that going. And then I started to look at what Rotary does. I got into the permanent fund, and I realized they don't spend the money for the first 3 years you send it in. They use the profit or the interest off from that. I like that Rotary, when they do a project, they don't go in and take care of it. They go to the local people and they say, how can we help you? We will come and help you. if we go international, many times they don't just send the money over there. We send people over there. They work with the people side by side to make sure that the money is spent well. One of the things I really like about Rotary is I ran across a quote by someone, and I really believe this. Rotary allows ordinary people to do extraordinary things, and I think I have made some great friendships, but you guys are really extraordinary people.
Now, Rick Bricker is going to say a few words. He's a man who knows what's happened.
Not anymore. No,
You know, every Rotarian every year. I joined Rotary. The second month I was in Rotary, I started giving to the Rotary Foundation. I just did it because everybody else was basically jumping on the bandwagon. I really didn't know that much about a Rotary at that moment, but little did I know that my future would hold for me. And so that was my introduction to the foundation. And I became very active in international service. I have been in this club now, I think 35, 36 years. So I've seen a lot of things that have happened, a lot of projects that we've done. And so I tried to put a list together of things that we've done and things that are going to be happening. And a couple of things that have happened throughout our district on projects we've done. For one, where you're sitting right here. This park has received at least 2, if not 3, Rotary District grants for different things that we've done inside of this park. So when you get into the foundation, we get into a grant process, and Rotary grants have these 3 requirements: measurability, sustainability, accountability. You got that, you got a grant. And because we take your money very seriously, that's the reason why Rotary is #1 with Charity Navigator, is because we pay attention to those 3 things. And we make sure that when Rod gives $1 or whoever gives $1, that dollar gets spent where it was supposed to go, and we make sure that it does get spent in that manner. Other projects that we've done, I think the first project when I joined the club that we got involved in was the Bolio House. Now, some of you may not know what that is, but it's a house that was at Crowing State Park, and it's the first house ever built in Brainerd. And it was falling down, falling apart, and we needed some help. And so our club jumped in, and that was the first, as far as I know, that was the first district grant that we ever received, was for that house. Since then, we've done some others. Some of them, Ruth Greminder was actually the one that got us started in writing grants. I think she was the one that wrote the first grant, if I remember correctly. After that, I kind of got jumped on board. I got excited about this grant process, and we were in a meeting, and we were having this discussion about ski go, and they needed lighting for downhill skiing, and they were out seeking funds. Well, our club was going to contribute some funds, and I had just became familiar with Rotary grant process. I said, we can get a grant for that, and so we did. We received a $10,000 grant to give to the ski hill, and they put in that lighting so that they could do it downhill skiing. Another one right down the road here is a community garden. We got some dollars to put in that community garden along with Sertoma, City of Brainerd. We had a senior center. We had a bunch of partners that came out of the Blended Leadership program that did that community garden. It's still there today. You can see it as you drive by. Internationally, we've been involved in Haiti for, I'm not even sure, at least 35, 36 years, something like that. It started with Brian Thuringer and the group Hans Peter Fordworth, and I'm not sure how they got started, but they decided to go to Haiti, and they came back all fired up and excited, and then we got involved with, I don't think we put any money into it, but a hospital in Pignon, Haiti, which is still there today. And other things that we did over there had to do with education and food and just the medical facility itself. And the airport, when we were dealing with Haiti, we had a problem with customs. Getting anything into Haiti is a problem because everybody wants to be paid to get it across the border. They had an airfield in Pignon where we built the hospital. The hospital was being built. and it wasn't up and it wasn't running. So Brian Thuringer and a couple others were able to scrounge up some money and get the thing back up and operational. So we only had to pay one custom agent instead of paying, you know, half a dozen of them. So, you know, it got a lot cheaper to get goods in
They
there.
had to build them a house though, remember?
Huh?
They had to build them a house.
Oh yeah, we had to build them a house, which you might think that's a big expense in Haiti. That's $600. So, you know, it wasn't that big of a thing. Other projects, Faith Project, which I'm part of, in Haiti. We've been there for 9 years now. We made a 10-year commitment there to a village in Pignon. We provided them with water, sanitation, medical, education, farming. We built them a community that has a government running it, that has established community government. So it's been an ongoing thing for all those years, and a lot of different projects that came out of Haiti. What else do I have on here? Okay, we did the Wilderness Discovery Center here just a couple years ago. We provided some funds for, it's a handicap facility in Thunder Bay. They did finish that building. It does have Rotary's name across the whole front of it. It's pretty cool. They kind of had a tough year this year. COVID kind of kept the attendance levels down at that camp up there because we thought we were going to go back up there. We didn't do it this year, but now I just got word that they're in the process of writing a global grant, which is going to be over $100,000, and they're asking for us to possibly participate again. So maybe we'll get back involved in that one again. What was the other one? Okay, a couple things that we have done at the district level, to give you an idea of some bigger grants. Maternal health care, we did a global grant with Canada. To get a global grant, you have to have more than one country involved. Our district is very unique in the fact that we are one of the only 2 districts that I know that have this ability to do a global grant between Canada and the United States. For years they told us we couldn't do it, and now we can. So we did successfully do that with maternal health care throughout North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, Ontario, and Wisconsin. Okay, that grant ended up being about $186,000. We kicked it off last August in Fargo with the Indigenous people from both Canada and from the United States. And it is in the process now. COVID's kind of slowed the project down a little bit, but it's still going, and we will accomplish it in the end. Another thing that we have never participated in, and I looked one time, I spent a good deal of time looking for a person, is a scholarship. Rotary has a scholarship program, and it's a really cool one. It's meant for graduate students that are looking to get their master's and study abroad. It's a $50,000 scholarship. I'm very happy to pleased to tell you that I am on that committee, and we met last week, and we gave away $50,000 to this young lady to go to Scotland for physical therapy. Is Trevor here? She's a physical therapist. I have to tell you, it was kind of scary on giving that money away. The first time we interviewed her was several months ago, and when that interview was over with, we all gave her the thumbs down. Every one of us gave her the thumbs down. She was very ill prepared. We thought she lacked maturity. There was a lot of different things, but we had there was a spark there. We could just feel that spark. So we gave her another chance. And we said, we want you to learn more about Rotary. We want you to study out. We gave her a list of people. You get in contact with these people throughout our district, and she did. And she came back, and when her interview was over here this last week, and she was offline, and we were all discussing, and I just said to everybody, I said, is this the same girl that we interviewed several months ago? What an outstanding person. And we gave her the $50,000. So she'll be off this fall, providing COVID allows it, and travel. But eventually she will get there for that education. So, but that's all I have to share with you about projects that we've done for today. There's a lot more, but time.
And actually, before I hand it back over to Buford, I think this is a perfect time to ask Mike Bjerknes to come up and talk about a potential international project, and Paul Allegra also, and I'm not sure, Todd? Not sure.
we'll fill in the blanks really quickly. So as the chair of the International Committee, part of what we do is determine what we're going to do each year with the peach sales dollars. This year was a little bit interesting in the cancellation of the peaches and what we were going to have available. So we've been working, you heard from Rick that the camp ultimately suffered through COVID, wasn't sure if it was even, excuse me, this fog, wasn't sure if they were even going to continue functioning. So we went into looking at some new applications for our international dollars. And we came to a project, and actually yesterday afternoon, myself, Jim Roloff, Paul Allegra, and Rick Ricker got on a Zoom call with Dr. Marco Sevilla, and Marco's out of Honduras. And I'm going to have Paul come up and share a little bit about his connection and tell you guys a little bit about some device work. And I'll be honest, the only thing I'm going to share on the other end of it is, when I got done with the call, I said, if anybody ever complains about the healthcare in the United States, they need to be slapped. So at that point, I'm going to let Paul fill in some of these blanks. It's pretty remarkable and what we're going to be able to do with scholars. And then have Rick share a little bit on matching graph that we can let you look at and doing as well.
Thank you, Mike. Can you hear me through this mask? Good. Dr. Padilla is back at that lab about 8 months ago, last fall, in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. Is the capital city, and there's just a tremendous need down there. University Hospital is an anesthesiologist. Anesthesiology really doesn't just do surgery in other countries, but also does teaching. And I ran across him. He's incredibly articulate, speaks English excellently, and he's very affable. And at the time, talking with Bill Potman, said, these folks have a lot of need. Hospitals, like hospitals perhaps in the 1970s in our country. And it's just remarkable to hear him talk. Yesterday, he was speaking to us about the coronavirus, and Bill, to some degree, and he was telling us he doesn't have filters and adequate personal protection. We had a good conversation yesterday and just identified a lot of need. It was early morning and speak to him, I would say. But I'll hand off to Jim.
The proposal or request we have from Dr. Padilla is to get a portable ultrasound kit. He's an anesthesiologist. He'd like to use it for just some very specific uses. One would be anesthesiologists have to access big veins in your body when they go in. And one of the common ones is subclavian vein. The problem with the subclavian vein is the artery runs right next to it, and right under it is the lung, which has a negative pressure. If you blow it, sticking a needle in the subclavian vein, you can fill a lung or the chest cavity with blood. So if you have an ultrasound unit, you can scan and find where's the vein, where's the artery, and even guide the needle to it. So the butterfly ultrasound is a new invention. Basically, it looks like this. A cell phone with a transducer attached to it. So it's going to look like this. That's it. Compared to, the ultrasound. Don't do two things well. That's it. So basically, it's a point of service kind of thing. Like, where is this vein? Or a local, if you want to do a local nerve block, put the transducer on the elbow to anesthetize it. So it's going to be revolutionizing medicine, I think. You're going to see it in our hospitals also. Emergency room doctors are going to be carrying one of these in their pocket, like their stethoscope. But we can get these through a contact. I have a friend of mine at the University of Minnesota has a few of these in Africa now. And he has 4 of them in his possession. He can sell them to us for $2,000 a piece, plus the cost of a cell phone or an iPad. And we have kind of an inside track on that through CTC. Mike can get the refurbished units, which are perfectly adequate to work with this iPhone 8 or newer. So that's basically what we're looking at, trying to get this to Honduras.
It's almost time to go. It's overtime. I just want to tell you that you're great. And let me tell you what greatness is. It has nothing to do with your position. It has to do with the size of your helping hand. And this Rotary Club has a tremendous helping hand. Congratulations to you all.
With this project in Honduras that we're looking at, we are going to apply for a Rotary grant for that, so that half the expenses will be paid for. I don't foresee that there will be any issues with getting the grant. It seems to be, to me, a pretty simple project. One couple little minor things I'm a little concerned with, but nothing out of the ordinary. So we are going to apply for money, and hopefully that down the road, maybe we could do more down there. I see real potential, and it would be very beneficial, I think, to help them out. They seem to be very nice people.
Thank you, and different thanks to the Paul Harris Fellows. Thank you very much, Mike and team, for the update on the international project. With that, Mr. Luke, would you lead us in Rotary, please?
R-O-T-A-R-Y, it's known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, one province goes to serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
Before you all leave,